I am in the entertainment business, working on a project in Bangkok. I know you used to be an actress.
I was.
Oh my god, you're gonna do something fucking stupid.
I just gotta deal with something.
ไม่ก็คุณศรีตลาอาจจะจ้างพี่ไปเป็นบอดี้การ์ด
Let's talk about the White Lotus season 3, which started off very, very good. I will add. I don't know how you feel about it, but let me know in the comments down below. And the White Lotus is doing what it always does, adding the mystery right at the beginning and then leaving us with the questions throughout and more questions as we go. So let's talk about the White Lotus. So every week we will be covering the White Lotus after the Sunday episodes. So make sure you tune in here, hit the subscribe button, notification bell. Tonight we're covering Severance. Let's get into the White Lotus and who died at the end of the episode. So of course, at the beginning of the episode, I mean, somebody died, and we saw that. That's something that the White Lotus is known to do. Now the question is, piece it together with everybody we've met already, and who could it be that has seemingly been found underwater? So let's start off with where we ended the last episode, and that was with the realization that Greg is in this season again. Greg seems to be the only one making it through. And we also have Belinda from previous seasons as well. Now, I think that this is the most popular theory, right? Greg's story has to end somehow, right? And I think Greg, of course, being the person behind what happened to Tanya, may she rest in peace, back in Italy, is definitely looking to sort of close loopholes they may have here, right? And Belinda is a loophole that he may just realize about pretty soon, as we've seen in the trailer for the next couple of episodes. Belinda is kind of scared of Greg. So I think we could either see, with theory number one, it's Greg, or it could be Belinda. Greg or Belinda. That's my first possibilities there for who could be the body, because I think that they're going to have a whole situation throughout. Then again, I think to myself, Mike White usually likes to subvert expectations and go with something that's a little bit less like there right in front of your face, right? Because we didn't know on season 2 that it would be Tanya. Nonetheless, we didn't even know Tanya would meet that fate in the way she did. I kind of feel like that's the most stretched out theory of mine here, that it's Greg or Belinda. I think their whole situation will be resolved in another way. Another possibility we have here as well, it could be Timothy Ratliff, who of course is going through some stuff here. It seems that he is sort of at a dead end. He is caught in some very nefarious activities that concern the government, financial things and all of that. And I think he could be definitely on the verge of doing something crazy. He might get a gun. Maybe some of the bodyguards might see this, feel threatened, turns into a shootout. Timothy is the body. That could be a possibility there, but I feel like that is still the most easiest explanation, but I still think it's one to keep in mind. So the next one is going to be Rick. Rick seems to be up to something not so like noble, right? He came here for reasons that he doesn't want to explain. He's not allowed in Australia for some reason, and he wants to get to the owner of the place. So what could that possibly be for? Well, in the trailer, we see he eventually ends up trying to find the owner's husband, and it seems to me that he's like a hitman of sorts. It would explain why he doesn't have like a job he talks about, why he seems on edge all of the time. So I think that this could be something we see happen down the line. We eventually will hear that Guy Talk will have a job as a security guard. So could he be the one that pulls the trigger on Rick when he's trying to get close to the husband of the owner or the owner themselves? That's a possibility there as well. Now, some other possible scenarios of what could happen here is that somebody's gun, whether it's Rick, whether Timothy, Guy Talk, or whoever, may be left unattended, which I've seen this theory online, and I started to think to myself, that is a very good possibility. And some of the monkeys may grab the gun, maybe they shoot it out somewhere random, and that causes the guards and everybody to get on edge, and a random shootout begins between people who may have not wanted to cause a random shootout, and there is an unlucky person that meets the bullet. So that's a strong possibility, especially with the emphasis on the monkeys this season. Mike White has talked about the monkeys, and that's definitely something I'd be like curious about if that's the case, because it would definitely fit the whole theme with the White Lotus, where it subverts expectations of what you're anticipating right throughout. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what it is this season. I just feel like we're cooking up something, and as always, the White Lotus is a pressure cooker. So it starts off slowly, it starts heating up, you start to see the bubbles and things before ultimately the steam is let loose. But I think this season's promising a lot of very interesting, not just with the body being found, also with the Ratliff siblings. There's something weird with Saxon that I think is eventually going to get like needed to address, right? and I think people will see that. Also, the whole thing with Mook and Gaitok, I think that that is definitely setting up something else with the bodyguards. Like, there's some nefarious things that are brewing, it seems, and I may be speculating stuff like that, which the White Lotus always has me doing, but that's just the case here. I'm interested what happens with Timothy, because what is all of this that's going on with his life and his businesses and things like that. Also, Rick is very mysterious with what he's doing as well, which is interesting. And I think the whole thing with Jacqueline as well is going to be something that we definitely have to address at some point. Kate and Lori, this like whole situation seems to be bubbling into something that's seemingly going to just blow up. A popular theory that has been floating around is that Lori, played by Carrie Coon, could in fact be Portia's mother from season 2, specifically because they ask about her daughter this season. That could definitely tie in some ends that we've seen, because Portia's whole story really didn't get sort of like ended in season 2, I believe, so they could definitely be wanting to revert back. We've already seen it with Greg, and we've seen it with Belinda. I think they like to keep this world interconnected, and that sort of adds more layers to these things, but we shall definitely see what happens in the next few episodes. Let me know your theories, your thoughts about who in fact could be the body or what could be going on this season. But it looks like it's gonna be definitely some pretty dark shit that's gonna be happening in Thailand. But let me know your thoughts and opinions, comment down below, and see you on Sunday when we discuss the next episode and what comes from it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Follow us on our website, www.culturalelixir.com. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, all that stuff, all provided at the end in the card. And I'll see all of you next time. Severance tonight. So if you're a fan of Severance, we'll be discussing this show post the premiere tonight. So probably around 10 p.m. you can expect that video. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.
Really? He has a lovely girlfriend, but he seems interested in you. I think we should call the police. We are not calling the police.
Saxon says you've never had sex. It's weird because you're so hot.
What?
Stay out of my personal life.
There are 2 men here from the FBI.
Am I implicated?
You're going to prison.
Prison? I would rather die.